Hi guys, today I'm going to do a quick lesson of angles of elevation and depression, okay, to help you with some word problems. So, elevation, okay, sounds like elevator. Elevators go up. All right, yeah, they do go down too. But when we think of elevate, when you elevate something, you lift it up, okay? So an angle of elevation, if I were to draw a right triangle, okay, we're talking about this angle here. See how it's looking up, okay? This angle in here is called the angle of elevation. Okay, kind of makes sense. All right, now, when they are talking about the angle of depression, well, you would say to yourself, well, this here is the angle of elevation. This must be the angle of depression. Not so. The angle of depression, okay, and the angle of elevation for that matter, is the angle that's formed with the horizontal. This angle here is not formed with any horizontal line. It's a vertical line. The angle of depression is, believe it or not, the angle outside of the triangle. This is the angle of depression. Okay, so how does that help us when we're solving for right triangles if they give us in a problem the angle of depression? Well, one of two things. Okay, this here, the angle of depression plus this space here, it forms a box. Okay, so what you can do if they give you the angle of depression, the angle of depression plus the other angle has to give you the 90 degrees. So if I wanted to find the space that's in the right triangle, I would do 90 degrees minus the angle of depression. And then I would use that information to solve the equation. Or, and I'm going to take you back a little bit, back into sophomore year, okay? If you look at this triangle, you have a horizontal line here. You have a horizontal line here. They're both parallel to each other. Then they have this line that goes through this way, all right? This is alternate interior angles. These are two parallel lines cut by a transversal. Ooh, blast from the past. So the angle of depression here technically is the same as the angle of elevation. Yes, you heard it here first, folks, that the angle of depression is the same thing as the angle of elevation. Okay, so for example, if they told me that the angle of depression is, let's say, I don't know, 20 degrees, I could do one of two things. I could draw myself a right triangle. They are giving me information that is outside of the triangle. They're telling me that this here is 20 degrees. Well, I could do one of two things. I could either say, well, if this angle of depression is 20, this in here has to be 70 degrees. Why does it have to be 70 degrees? Because 90 minus 20 is 70 degrees. Or, again, if they give me the angle of depression, okay, which is the angle that's formed outside here, is 20. If they tell me that is 20, well, then I can say, well, if this is 20, this piece in here must be 20. Okay, and I can use either pieces of information to solve for the triangle. Okay, so I just want to introduce to you the angle of elevation, the angle of depression to solve some problems. For example, this one here. Okay, number one. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll read it out loud to you. You could pause the video and like zoom in on it if you want. If a tree 28 meters tall casts a shadow 32 meters long, what is the measure of the angle of elevation? Okay, so I'm going to draw that picture. Guys, just in case you're confused, I know we haven't been outside in a while. Trees grow up. Shadows are on the floor. Okay, so this would be your tree. This would be your shadow. The tree is telling me is 28 meters long. The shadow is 32 meters long. Okay, angle of elevation would be the angle going up. This one here. All right, trees are hopefully 90 degrees with the floor. We don't want them leaning on the house or anything. All right, now Actually, we're looking for an angle. We didn't really cover that yesterday, but we did cover in class, so I might need to refresh that for you. First of all, how would I write this out? Well, here's my key. I have x, 28, and 32. Okay, x represents my angle. 28 is opposite my angle. 32 is adjacent to my angle. Okay, what function is that with an O and A? It's a tangent. So I would hit the tangent of the angle, which is x, is equal to opposite over adjacent, so katoa. Now, I'm looking for an angle. Whenever you're looking for an angle, okay, you have to use the inverse key. So it's like this: sine -1, cosine -1, or tangent -1 on your calculator. And I'll show you on my little calculator. Oh, I don't know if you can see it with the, let's see, we'll put it on, see if you can see. Okay, so I need to find the tangent of 28 over 32. See my tangent button here? On top of it, it says tangent to the -1. So I'm going to hit second tangent, and look how it pops up on my calculator. Tan to the -1. It's 28. I'm going to put in 28 divided by, because it's a fraction, 32. I'm going to close my parentheses, and I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to tell me that the angle of elevation is going to be a 41-degree angle. Give it to me to the nearest whole number. Okay, so remember, when we're looking for angles, we have to hit that second function key. All right, that being said, let's look at another 1 or 2 questions. Okay, well here, that was a multiple choice, it's 2. Number two gave me a picture. Okay, so that one was pretty easy. It says a kite, here's my kite, is flying at the end of a 20-meter string. So here's me down here holding onto the kite. Okay, look how skinny I got. Definitely not. Did not get skinny in isolation here. 20-meter string. If the string makes an angle of 68 degrees with the ground, how high to the meter is the kite? So we want to know how high. Height is always measured with a vertical distance. Height is always going to be perpendicular to the ground. So this is what we're looking for. So let's see. I have, if I write out my key, I have 68, which is my angle. I have an x and I have a 20. X is opposite my angle. 20 is opposite the 90 degrees, so that's the hypotenuse. I have a sine function. So it's going to be the sine of 68 is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Again, I'm going to do cross products. I'm going to multiply these. Okay, when I do that, this is not a second function because I'm not looking for an angle, so I'll just hit sine of 68, close my parentheses. Very important to close those parentheses. You only want the sine of that angle, times 20. And I get x equals 18 point, to say to the it says to the nearest meter, it's 18.5, so we're going to write 19. Okay. These are basically some word problems. Do I have time? I'll do one more, and then I'm going to give you the homework to do. Okay, so, here's an angle of depression one down here. Let me move this up. All right, let's see. Example number 5. From the top of a tree 16 feet tall, see, here's my tree, it's going straight up, it's 16. An observer, I guess the observer would be down here, measures the angle of depression. See how it's outside the triangle, the angle of depression, of 41. Find to the nearest foot the distance from the foot of the tree to the object. So here's the foot of the tree, here's the object. So we're looking for this. We can't do anything right now because this angle is not in the triangle. You have one of 2 options. If this is the angle of depression here, 41, that means it's also the angle of elevation in here. I could throw it right into the triangle right there, and then I'm good to go. Then I could set up my key. Or I could do 490 minus 41, okay, and get that this angle in here is 49 degrees, and I could use that one. If it does not matter which one you use, you're going to get the same thing. You're just going to have opposite functions. I think I'm going to use the 41 that they gave me and just throw it in as an angle of, if it was the angle of depression, it is now the angle of elevation. Again, if I write up my key, I have 41, which is my angle. I have x, which is adjacent to it, and I have 16, which is opposite, which means it's a tangent function. So the tangent of 41 is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. This is that situation where you could just flip-flop these and you could plug it into your calculator as 16 divided by the tangent of 41. Okay, so 16 divided by the tangent of 41, close those parentheses because your angle is only 41 degrees, and get what they say they want this to, nearest foot. So 18.4, x is 18. Okay, guys, if you're not getting answers like this, okay, always check to make sure you're in the correct mode. Make sure you're in a degree mode, not in a radian mode. Okay, so those are just some examples of some word problems. I'm going to send you home a worksheet. It is not due tomorrow. It's due to Monday. So there's not going to be another video upload tomorrow. Enjoy your Friday. I love you guys, and I miss you guys. And let me know if you have any questions.